All right, before we go, check. All right, everything's good. All right, guys, you know the drill. Just give me a second to get my links out. If you guys are watching the replay, you know what to do. Skip like a couple minutes ahead until I get all this sorted out. Oh, wrong button. All right, I believe that's it. What's up, folks? Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing? Happy Friday Eve, as I like to say. Hope you guys are having a good day. We got a little bit of action since the last time we talked, and things are looking pretty good. Now, what can happen in this, the next couple days leading up to this pump? I have two different main ideas for now. And to be honest, the shorts still look good. The structure is forming what I like to see. And let's go over that. Before we go through that, let's just make sure. Okay, check. Cool. I'm sorry. My computer updated this morning before I left for work. And of course, I wanted to set things up for the stream. And it fucked up all my settings. So I think we're good. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Let me know if you can hear the music or not. I think everything's good though on my end. I'll keep an eye on chat. If you guys are having any issues on your end, please let me know. Like I said, I had to go through reset all my settings, so I think we're good. So last time we spoke, we were kind of in this region. Was it the 12th? All right, so yeah, we were kind of still almost bottoming out for now. And the main idea that I was focusing on was this ABC here. I'm looking for a lower low past that 17,613, 17,615 area. And that still stands as of today. That has not changed. Now the availability of other options is on the table as well. We'll go over that here shortly. So there's a couple ways we can get there. The main idea still stands as this is an A. Oh, I'm sorry. This is an A. I'm looking for some sort of B, which we're currently in right now. And before I can take any longs, I'm looking for at least a test and a little wick below at 18,890 level before I can even consider the alternative. And the alternative, in my opinion, is that this could be a bigger AB to a C to the upside. Let me show you what that looks like. A to the B to the C. That's the alternative. Let me paint this green, this long. Mark that on here as well. So before I even want to be any sort of midterm bullish, if I do decide to take that path, or if it does look a little more clear to me, I do want to see at least another leg down past that 18,890 level. Me personally, I'm not going to be how do I say this? I'm not going to be more bullish until we get awake past that 17,556. But I know that this option's in the cards, and I will play this just in case that this idea does happen to play out instead of the main. And the main idea is, like I talked to you guys about before, is this was an A to a B to a C. And then we're simply just putting an A to a B to a C down like that. That's pretty much it. Things haven't really changed since the last time we talked. It's just the way we get there can change, or there can be different variations to it. So that's about it. Let's go down the list here. This is not going to be as in depth as the last one because, you know, things haven't really changed. I got to save this as a fresh chart because that's an old idea. And so for ETH, let's just go over a couple of different possibilities here. And first off, before, you know, we spoke last time, we were still sitting in this region. I did say that we did have an opportunity to put in a bigger A to a B to a C. Oh, right click by accident. A to a B to a C. Within that, we have an A to a B to a C. It's a little bit, you know, exaggerated. Like the structure is a little bit big, in my opinion. I personally don't put too much weight on this idea yet, but it is in the cards. As of right now, what I'm personally doing, I'm still focusing off of this structure here because we still have this as a main A. So technically, you know, we can do something like that. But actually, hold on, let me just illustrate this to you guys better. And this is taking its time, you know, doing something like this. Of course, it's a possibility. But I'm still on the main bias that I think that we're going to be putting in a lower low on BTC, ETH, and probably some of the alts if it hasn't done it already. And we'll go over that shortly because I think some of them did. That's the main idea I'm looking for. And it's taking its sweet time. It's just going to ABC us to death, as some people like to say. So that's the main idea. I know it's a little bit messy and the waves are kind of all over the place, but until we get a higher high past the 1280.50 level, that's what I'm sticking to. Oh, that's the main idea I'm sticking to. So I'm short from here. Mark this out for you guys. Spooky Smart, thumbs up. Cool. Glad everything's working. How you doing? Okay. And then, so these shorts play out. I probably will be taking a long until we get back at least below 1,002 off of a structure like this until we get that higher high. That's in the cards. I will take a long off of that, even though my main bias is to lower lows. I am not going to be waiting till we get there. The structure definitely looks big enough for me to actually take a position off of, and I will do it if we get back down there. But besides that, that's pretty much it for ETH. The lower lows at 875. Spooky Smart, patient. Yeah, patience is key, man. Patience will make or break you. Alright, not gonna lie, LTC did have a setup back when we were talking before. I did say that this was a structure to take a long off of, so if you guys hopped into this, good on you. This was definitely a trade to be in. Look at that. You get a break, a retest, and a pump. What more could you ask for? That's a beautiful setup, in my opinion. Personally, I did not take it. I'm not convinced yet that we're going to be reversing significantly here. I think the overall bigger structure shows that I want to see lower. So, unfortunately, did not play that. But let me mark this out for you guys here as a level to be long off of, even though it's a little bit too late. But if that fails, and if we just keep going down from here, the low I'm looking to break is at $40.27 area. And on the bigger structure, I'm looking for something like this. So, you know, we're a little bit away from that, but for me personally, I'm not looking to be macro bullish until we hit that $40, 50, 40, 45, 40, 50 level. So let's move on to XRP. Did the XRP, you did put it at a lower low from the structure we talked about last time, which was this one. And I don't touch this coin with a 10-foot stick, but that's just me. The setup was there. It's a beautiful setup. If you caught a long off of that, congratulations. Good job. Definitely a position worth holding on for to at least a test of that 38.75 area. But if the market does decide to keep going down, the ultimate low I'm looking for before I consider even being remotely bullish on a longer term for XRP is going to be at this 28.68 level based off of this structure here. It's not going to be exact, but downtrend, uptrend, downtrend. I'll pull this. Technically, that's it. So until that happens, I'm not looking to take any longs on XRP. And if you missed the opportunity, unfortunately, you might not get another one, or you will. Most likely, in my opinion, you will. Let's move on to BCH. BCH, very similar to what we spoke about last time. Very messy here. And then within that, A, B, C. Same thing with a lot of the other coins. It did put in a lower low, a slight lower low. So if you were paying attention, you did happen to catch this position. I would have taken it at 96.80. And I'm not sure where you'd be taking profit. If this would be a bigger macro position or just kind of just a retest before we continue down. I can't give you that answer, but the only thing I can give you is the potential is there, the possibility is there. So that would have been the position to take. You could go to test the local high 113, but me personally, I would probably hold this for the longer term, just in case. XMR. Oh. Okay. XMR is actually, Monero is actually in a very interesting point of structure, I would say. You did have a bigger ABC reversal pattern for a short. I actually might take this. Maybe if I can get some sort of retest, I might enter this. But see, for me, as a real-time example, I like to look at my stop losses on smaller coins in perspective. So, part of me wants to just do 1%, but that gives you so much room to get stopped out. And for me, this is not going to be a position I want to be actively paying attention to. And to me, it's not a priority. So I'm going to be a little bit more lenient on the stop loss. I see like a 2.5, maybe a 3. But the structure looks like it wants to come down and test that lower low. So even with a 2.5, it's still an 11. 11 R&R is pretty juicy in my opinion, especially on a bigger term. I like this. I actually like this a good amount. So if you guys are interested in taking a short, if you guys haven't gotten in or you missed an opportunity, tread lightly, but XMR, but that definitely is on the cards if you guys are looking for that. Let's go. Actually, let me go back and finish my thoughts. So pretty much, I'm looking for something like this: A to a B to a C. I'm not looking to be macro bullish on XMR until I see a lower low at 96.70. So until I see that, I'm pretty much, especially now that that bearish structure didn't come in play, I'm looking for where's that price label? I'm looking for a test of the low. Just me personally. Something like that. So 96.80 is a level to get back below before I can get macro bullish. And let's move on from there because that's all for XMR. Wow. Guys, I didn't touch this from last time. And I got one to zoom in, but that looks like, yep, that looks like a lower low to me. Let me just make sure I'm not crazy. Oh my God. Oh, this gives me a headache. By a hair. Literally. Look at the value change. 0.0410 and all that room 0.4009. It just put in a lower low on Bybit. I haven't checked any other exchange, but that would have been your position to go long, and you would be sitting pretty right now if you were sitting in this. This is one of those situations to where you had to actively be ready, participating and like watching a chart to get a good idea of when to get in. You're sitting decent right now. Let me just get rid of this. That way, that lower low, things have changed. ABC of the bigger structure. If this does want to go lower, it absolutely can. But we did put in that lower low, so I have to treat this as a possible reversal point. Where would I take profit on this? I would want to see at least a test of that 69.15 level if I'm going to hold this. And that's a 31.91 on a 2.25% stop loss. That's a nice juicy and R&R. Bring it down like a 3. Still 24. That's really good. For a stop loss percentage, that I wouldn't say steep, but for that size, it's pretty good. So that's pretty much it for Cardano. Solana, A, B, C. It looks like it's taking its sweet time, ABCing us to death. So at the very least, if I'm looking to take a long, I would want to take it off of this structure. Want to look at to see a lower low past that $30.88 region. Mark that out. 88.5 technically. And I would probably look for something like this. If you do get that. So let's mark out a long. If you're going to do that, I'd probably take profit or head short at 42.925. That's a nice range to play on Solana. So keep an eye on that if you guys are looking to get into a long. There's really no short positions. I mean, there is the possibility of it doing something like this before it gets down there. Absolutely could be in the cards. Doesn't have to go directly right down. So let's mark that out for you guys. All right. So let's see. And until that happens, you know, if we get a lower low, if that $30.88.5 region fails, I'm looking for a lower low past that 45.75 area before I can get more macro, longer term bullish based off of this structure here. Or here, depending on where that B wants to go. Just mark that up for you guys as well. Oh, that's gray. Nope. All right, so that's it for Solana. KDA. All right, so KDA did have... These are the bigger macro ABCs I'm looking for. But you did put in a bullish structure off of this. And that was a possibility that we did discuss last time. Something I wouldn't do, but the structure is there. The reason why I say I wouldn't do this is because my overall market sentiment is still to the downside, so this can easily continue lower. You guys don't have to listen to me when it comes to stuff like that. That's his personal bias. Don't skip out on a position because I said I'm not personally taking it. If the structure's there, go for it, take it. But that's just me as a trader. I would say take it. Me personally, I wouldn't take it. So hopefully that doesn't confuse you guys, but that's just the mindset of where I'm coming from. I'm just gonna delete that and keep that as a region. So now that you have this, you do have the possibility of this happening, which is, you know, a little bit stretched, but you could take profit or take a head short off of the $1.89 region. If she does want to come up and test those levels. That's pretty much it for KDA. XTZ had a beautiful short setup that we talked about last time off of this ABC. And ultimately, I'm looking for another leg down. Well, actually, no, it would be this. And then within that C, A, B. I don't want to draw too many lines to confuse you guys, but that's the main idea of why I'm coming up to that conclusion. Or the main reason why I'm coming up with that conclusion. I'm looking to be ultimately more macro bullish if XTZ can get below that $1.19.5 area and come back above. And if you are sitting in a short, which, you know, I know someone who is, this is a beautiful short setup to take. I would be holding this until you get that lower low. That's just me. You do have the possibility of this being, let me go to like a 30-minute. All right. Yeah. All right. You do have the possibility of this being a possible scenario to where this becomes a BC. But until that happens, you know, that level is at that $1.39 region. I personally would not be that bullish. That's just me, though. I think it wants to come down and definitely put in a much cleaner structure, but I've been wrong. So that's pretty much it. Yeah, how long? 22 minutes? Yeah, usually it just takes about 20 minutes. So that's it for now for the TA. Now I'm going to turn it over to you guys if you guys have any questions for me. Now's the time to speak. Usually Thursdays are a little bit, how do I say this, slower. So I don't plan on staying on here too long. We're definitely not like last stream. Well, I said I was going to leave last stream early and that didn't happen, so. Identifying divergences. So we're talking about RS. Are you talking about specifically RSI? That's usually what I assume. Just let me know if I'm wrong. We can go over that for sure. So, Spooky, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the way I trade, or if you're coming from Kite Channel, I'm sure you know the ABC method. If you're new, coming from outside of me or Kite, welcome. I do trade in particular style. I don't necessarily use RSI indicators anymore, but there definitely is a tool. So let's go over how I did it, how I set up my RSI, and hopefully that gives you an idea. Just let me know if are you familiar with how this is set up from Kite's channel? If you're not from Kite's channel, just let me know. Oh, Kite copy. Okay. So I'm sure if you are from Kite's channel, you're familiar with we changed the RSI length to 125. The reason why we do that is that it de-exaggerates the RSI. Because if I go to the 14, look at all this junk. This is all junk. It's hard to really tell where the true divergences are, where it makes sense. But if you take the value of that, or the length, and increase it by 125, it kind of gives you a idea of what truly is important or what's important when it comes to divergences. I'm taking this off so it doesn't make it as sloppy. So pretty much with this method, ABC, yes, on Kite channel. Okay, so you are familiar. So let's just go over quickly. Basically, the reason why I don't use RSI and divergence anymore is because a lot of the times the divergences form without me having to look. Like where there's an ABC here, I'm going to look for a divergence off of here. Now sometimes doesn't always happen. All right, so see here was not the case. Higher high, higher high. That's convergence. I'm okay with that. Let me just find you a good example. Higher high. Huh. Do I have to go to like a 15-minute maybe? I'm rusty with this, so please excuse me. This was the high. So the easiest way to mark these out, in my opinion, is mark out the high of both the RSI and price. And so you can always go back and say, once you get a high off of the origin, if you do get a higher high, okay, look, see, this is not the best example because it's a little bit stretched out, but I can just show you just based off of this. This is your A to a B to a C. All right, so this is a very macro pivot. You can see we got a higher high here, and technically RSI did a double top. Now you do have that very slight little area where it did break through, but to me, this is significantly not a converging RSI, or how do I say this? The RSI is not converging with price. So to me, this is considered a divergence because you do have a high with a high in price, a higher high, but also the RSI just tapped the same level. So technically that's bearish. So you would want to short off of the value of whatever the A is from here. And obviously it's a little choppy, but you did eventually end up getting a nice short to the downside. So let's see if I can give you a bullish case scenario. I might have to... Okay, right here. A, B, C. Let me just zoom in. A, B, C. So mark the point of the A and then go to the corresponding area in the RSI and mark that as a low. All right. So if you can get price to go below, as soon as it gets back below, look to where the RSI is at. Oh, would you look at that? Price put a lower low, but RSI put a higher high. So to me, that's a long signal. I would be trying to take that if you're just looking at divergences. But like I showed you before as well, a lot of the times, sometimes you don't get these divergences off of these ABC patterns. And unfortunately, if you're just going based off of RSI, like let's say you wanted to add the RSI as a level of confluence or an extra, how do I say this? As an extra item to your list of your checklist. So let's say you won't take an ABC unless you see a divergence. The problem when it comes to something like that is sometimes, in this case scenario, you have the structure, but you don't have the divergence. So you missed out on an opportunity to take a short because you didn't have that extra level of security or that signal that would allow you to actually take that position. And let me know, Spooky, if I'm losing you. Let me know if I'm making sense. I think I hopefully I did a good job explaining that. But before I keep going, just let me know if I'm on a good track. Another tool to confirm or higher confidence. Yeah, and you could do that, but like I said, just stated before, sometimes you do have an ABC pattern, which to me is clear as day. That's a reversal sign for me. But if you're also using the RSI, you necessarily wouldn't have taken that short because you don't have that confluence. And you could be in a good spot. If you're on the sidelines and this goes up, in that case it worked out. But sometimes you do have those areas or those situations to where the RSI might not be aligned with your ABC pattern, and unfortunately you might miss out. So hopefully that makes sense. Digital, how you doing, buddy? How's your Thursday going? We're just talking about RSI here. We went over all the TA, so we're kind of just hanging out right now. So hopefully that helps. If you're gonna do this, Spooky, I would go stick to like a 30-minute. Maybe if let's try a 15. Yeah, even on a 15, you don't get it. Hourly? Yeah, even on the hour, you don't get it either. Yes, I'm aware of this divergence here. But for me, I look at divergences based off the relative structures that I'm looking at. To me, the divergence here is not really relevant because I'm not looking at a reversal pattern. If the divergence is back here based off of this ABC reversal pattern, then I would say, okay, cool, let's take it. But you also have aligning RSI as well. Higher high, so high to high also aligns with convergence. So okay, perfect. It does. Exhausted between night shifts, just one more and then a few days off. How are you guys? I'm good, man. The end of the week is rough for me. The lack of sleep catches up, so I'm pretty shot right now. DF Phase, yo, how you doing, buddy? How's it going? Thank you for stopping by. How's your night going? We're just here, just catching, just kind of just shooting the shit. So we gone over the TA. If you have any questions for me, just tuning in, feel free to ask. We're kind of just hanging out. No one tool can do it all, but the ABC rule is the basis. Correct. Correct. You should prioritize the ABC based off structure. If you want to look at RSI, you can, but don't let that deter you from making the actual trading decision. Have you covered ETH? Yes. I can cover ETH again if you guys want. Well, I'll go over it quick. So this is pretty much the sketch, the draw, what I drew last time. The main thing I was looking at is I am short off of this 1197 level, and I will continue to play this until we get a higher high at 1285. The reason why is because I could see a potential bigger structure forming from A to a B to a C. And this is just one bigger ABC within the C. Now, this is going to be a little bit messy, so let me just clear this up. But until we get that higher high, I'm going to be playing at 1197 level. The structure is there. If this wants to align with BTC, which I think is going to happen, or based my idea based off of BTC of what I think could happen. I think that this is going to be, this is some sort of retest. So ultimately, I'm looking for an A to a B to a C. Although we are in this trend, you could have a reversal set up based on that 1005 area. So I will personally probably look to take some sort of hedge long at 1005. And once I get to that point, I will let price battle, and whatever happens, happens. Because I'll be, the range between these two levels are so drastic, I would say, is that I'm going to be in deep profit either way to cover losses from getting stopped on the other position. So that's what I'm looking for on ETH. Until I see that lower low, I'm still playing this 1197. But if price does keep going upward from here, you definitely do have that 1285 level to look forward to, take a short off of. That's pretty much it. And if this does want to continue downward, the ultimate last level that I'm looking to long off of, if we get below and then back above 875.70, that's going to be more of a macro reversal bullish trade, if not trend shift idea that I have. That could be the last possible lower low. Now, price can go as deep as it wants, but if it goes deep and it comes back above 877, I will remain bullish. Thanks. Plenty of time here. Absolutely. I was comparing the previous two peaks in the slight retracements before it peaked. Are you talking about ETH, Spooky? Are you talking about the RSI again? I gotta pull it up. Let's see. Thanks. I took a short from 1192. Looking forward to the higher high if it does happen. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's if this, so I gotta play it by then. They drop between 3.5 to 5.3 before going back up to the top. Oh, I see what you're saying. I think I see what you're saying. They drop between 3.5 and 5.3% back to the top. Rated. Now you got me looking at RSI because I'm curious. Oh, look at that. You had basically a double top with a higher high in RSI. You did have a divergence there. July 7th through 25th. Okay, so this peak. Okay, I see what you're saying. So kind of putting in that little bit of a... Okay, I see what you're saying. So you... Okay, I think. See the dip. Yeah, right here. Let me know if I'm wrong. I'm looking at... Oh, shit. Where's my box? That little one. And then you said July 7th. Okay. You're talking about these dips, right? Yeah, and that goes along with kind of like... So what I talk about as well is finding ABCs within Cs. Is usually when you find bigger structures, there's going to be waves in between each one. Now, be careful when you do this because you'll get trapped in playing smaller time frames. Now, that looks shitty, but I can do this all day. Watch. A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C. You always get a basically a push up, a retest, and then basically a push past that previous high, and then you'll get a reversal pattern. So I would have shorted this probably, and then we didn't get the higher high, so I didn't short it, unfortunately. We might go back down a bit and then quickly back up. Yeah. Like you could see something like this. Something like that. It probably would play. And if it's going to push up, I probably would assume that it's going to keep going past that up to 1278. It could even test, and we could get some sort of larger range. That's also on the cards as well. But if you do get a pullback and a significant push higher, I'm gonna say the odds of price going above 1278 are gonna increase significantly. So that's just what I'm looking at. With tomorrow's labor report. Yeah, that definitely has. So this is just me, Spooky. I personally don't trade off of, I don't try to basically base any of the trade ideas based off of stuff like that. Labor reports, was it the CPI came out a couple days ago? So, but there was action in this area based off of the CPI report. Is it CPI? Let me know if I'm wrong on that. Basically, they talk about the inflation rate. This was news reacting to, or this was basically the market's reacting to that news, or it was front running. I'm not sure. It was front running. If we get a big surge up, then we really dive down. I agree, Spooky. $8:30 a.m. when the report came out. Yep, it was 8:30. So that set of price was front run. Come on. So, trying to think what else. Let me draw. July 27th, Fed report for interest rates, plus an excuse to mess with the shorts or longs for max pain. Absolutely. And the thing is, like, when it comes to stuff like that, people who have money to throw know this. So that's why you see these spikes in volatility, is that people know people are going to have some sort of reaction to what's going on. So what they'll do is they'll front run a short, get people very bearish before anything's even said, and then basically within that same hour you get pretty much a trend reversal. You get people bearish, short the breakout, try to short the news, and it just basically turns on you. But if you were on the the side of watching structure, I'm not saying you guys do this, but you could have taken a long here. You would have got stopped out a couple times, but you'd be sitting in a decent spot. You're seeing at about a 6. Not bad. That's just how I view it. It's the same thing when it comes to, like, so Spooky, if you're familiar with the overall concept of ABCs, as we use them as a trend reversals, but I don't think I never spoke on why it works well. Is the reason why it works so well is because newer traders or traders don't have a lot of experience, and I started out this way too, is playing ranges and shorting or longing breakouts to either direction. So if I didn't say anything about ABCs, you would say, okay, this is a definite pivot high. We came back down the retrace. So normally you would think, okay, we're going to have some sort of breakout. Price did have a strong wick up, so you would take a breakout long. So let's just give a hypothetical here. All right, so we use stop losses here. A lot of people don't, surprisingly. But in this situation, if you're trying to take a breakout long, you would have got stopped out a good at least 4 times, I would say. Maybe, 1, 2, 3 times, and then we went back down. So you're hoping to get a breakout to higher highs, especially because this area here, there's really no resistance until at least the test of the previous break at about here. All right. The problem with that is going back to the same reason what I talked about, people with money front running these news events. It's almost the same situation where people with money who can definitely move markets understand that people trade this way. So what they'll do is they'll bring price up. Well, price will come up here. There'll be a pullback, and they'll push price up to this level to get people to get it to buy into breakouts. And what this does, it creates a liquidity pool here. And people who, you know, people like me and you don't have the money like some of these people, some of these whales do, or some of these people who play this game. And so what they'll do is they'll push the price up, get people to think that, oh, we're consolidating, you know, we have some sort of triangle pattern and we're going to break out more. You know, so that's a shitty drawing, but just to give you an example. And we're going to keep pumping. It creates liquidity in longs. And what they do is once they finally get enough money, or they can build a pattern that might think it's bullish, they'll sit there and push it down. And it'll basically create liquidations. People will get liquidated because they don't use stop losses. Or if they do use stop losses, to get stopped out of longs, you have to sell Bitcoin. So what this does is this creates almost a tornado effect. Is basically you start out small, and the more money you can take out of the market, and the more people you basically force to sell or buy the opposite direction, that's what creates these bigger trend reversals. So that's what most people do, and you know it works in certain times. Now is not the time. If you were playing the bull market back in 2020, that was the time to be taking breakouts. I'm not going to go back that far, but now it's more of a consolidating sideways bear market, and that's the time where people want to try to, you know, buy the dip or buy breakouts. And basically it just creates a wave of creating liquidity, having markets move against those positions, and then forcing them to do the opposite of what their original position was. So in this case, buy Bitcoin, go long. They create liquidity, get stopped out or liquidated, and then what they do is it forces a mass sell-off. Or if you're trying to break out to the downside, try to think of a more scenario where that would have happened. So like right here. Downtrend, uptrend, downtrend. You create a pivot to take a possible breakout short from. So it's the same thing. People will take shorts here. All right. And they'll be like, oh, okay, cool. We're sitting pretty. All of a sudden, you create all this liquidity from money from people trying to take breakout shorts. You end up trapping them. You pump the market up to where you force liquidations and you force people to get out of their shorts. What does that do? That forces positions and people to buy Bitcoin to get out of those positions. And that's how you create little pumps like this. And then that's what creates more bigger uptrends. And you get the same thing all over again to the downside. ABC create massive liquidity, trying to trick people into taking breakout longs. You kind of play with their emotions a little bit, turn the market, force people to sell, and it creates this vicious cycle. And that's why like these ABC patterns work so well. It's very simple. You're basically following the opposite of what most people want to do. So you're going against the herd. That was a good little tangent. Spooky, I appreciate the questions. Hopefully that helps you understand a little bit better of why I do this, and if you're familiar with Kite, why he does it, why this ABC strategy works. I like it. It just cements my confidence in the ABC. Exactly. Once I understood that, just that alone, that the idea of going against the herd, that's how you become a successful trader, is if you do the things that most people either are afraid to do or don't like to do. Like, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Kite. If not, go check him out. If you're familiar with some of the stuff I have said, which I believe you might be new here, so welcome to the channel. I listen to a lot of Trader Tom, and if you don't know who he is, definitely check him out. Let me pull this up over here. There's a specific seminar he does that's phenomenal. It talks about trading psychology, and that's the most important tool. If you want, I'll throw a link on it in case you're curious. Spooky. Oh, I can't fucking pop into my own chat. Great. I have to do it off of YouTube. Sorry if you guys heard that. That is a seminar at Trader Tom. If you ever get the time, Spooky, go ahead and listen to that. I've been watching you for the last 2 or 3 months. Okay. Okay, so I'm sure you're familiar with some of the stuff I have said, but basically, the main reason why I like stuff like this is because it goes against the herd mentality. The herd mentality, most people do what, how do I say this? By going against the herd, you follow the opposite of what most people do, and you're not afraid to do what other people are afraid to do. And it Kite's Discord. Okay. All right. So that's where you're from. Okay. I'm sorry. Sometimes I get people mostly from Kite's channel, so I assume, and then sometimes I might be people on here who aren't from Kite's channel. So, and then they're like, well, who are you talking about? And so it's hard for me to go to identify sometimes, but I appreciate it. Let's see. Okay, so going back to what I was saying, is one of the things Trader Tom talks about is going against the herd. How do you do this? One of the ways you do this, but how he does it, which I actually do not exactly the same way as he does, but let's say when you're in a winning position, like for example, in this short, I'm in a winning short. He will add to his shorts to amplify profit. Now, most people are like, whoa, that's absolutely crazy. Why would you do that? You put more money on the table. Well, yeah, basically his mindset is the trend is strong in that direction, so I'm going to play the trend until the trend breaks. I personally do a little bit differently. If you're going to add to your positions, I would do it in a way that aligns to a specific direction that you're going with, but taking profit and re-entering. So instead of adding money and losing that ideal setup or position that you had, I'll take profit and I will actually re-short. So for example, this is just an example. What I could do is I can short, I'm short from up here. I can take profit and take a short off of this setup. All right. And what I'll do is that allows me to take the extra capital that I made and basically take a slightly heavier position. And so when price moves the exact same direction, let's say it moves 13%, and let's say it does it again down here. All right. I'll make a lot more money off of the same 13% move that I would have off of here because I added to that position. Most people, when they add to the position when they're losing, because they're saying, oh, screw it. You know what? I'm already down like $200 or down 15%. Fuck it. I'll just add another 10, 15%. Bring down my average, gives me a chance to get back in a winning trade. That's not how you do that. That's a bad habit to learn. That's a bad habit to keep. So it's stuff like that is learning how most people trading the opposite. Learning how most people structure the positions, doing the opposite. The reason why 90% of people fail because of habits and following other people's choices that are also more bad habits. People just don't realize. So that's one of the key things. Understood. That's my issue, not taking profits. If you want, we can go over that. That's not a good example. Don't take profit on that short because I said so. I think you should hold it. The only reason why I say hold it is because this is such a good entry. If you got something to where like prices came down like this, you know. All right, and let's say you got something like this. Then you can go ahead and take your profit on your short and play this region. Because price is developed, and even though you're above this A, that looks like a bigger bear structure. There's a better chance for continuation. So I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. But like in a scenario like that, that's where I would re-enter a short. When I see a big enough structure that shows me that there's a possible continuation down. And then you would do something like this, like just play. It's a really bad example, but just like just in case you get caught up some chop, something like that. Which is a very valid thing that could happen. Not predicting, just kind of give you a ballpark scenario of why or how I would re-enter a short, even though I'm taking away from a position up here. It allows you to basically say it's either or can happen. If this fails, I took profit and we're good. It's no harm, no foul. So. I think that's everything I wanted to say. Goes against the herd. You know, what do common traders do? I think that's pretty much it. All right. So I'm going to wrap it up here. Spooky, you have any other questions for me? Now it's time to ask. Don't strain yourself, LOL. No, it's like after being on stream for a while and like trying to think about stuff I'm going to say, I kind of just get lost in thoughts trying to keep, even though like, you know, it's me and you pretty much just hanging out right now. I want to make sure I get all your points, make sure I got everything out of the way that you wanted to ask me. Try to remember where I left off, going back and forth between. So, and plus I'm tired too, so this is like a combination of things. But we've been going on for an hour, so I always say it's gonna be a quick stream, but I get some good questions. So I really appreciate you guys for stopping in. Spooky, I appreciate you stopping by, asking questions. Like, we had a great conversation. You got some really good questions. I really hope that helped you out. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap things up here, folks. Unless anyone else wants to come in and pop in and ask you a question, I don't mind at all. But if that's not the case, you guys are just hanging out, you've been watching this entire time, or if you're just tuning in, pretty much a quick recap. The green levels are the areas I'm looking along off of, based off a structure like this. Or just want to continue down lower, that could be another possibility. If not, I'm still short off of this. Price can come up to up here and put in a higher high. I probably will short that. I'm not, but if we keep pumping from there, I'm gonna have to go back to the drawing boards and kind of see the different scenarios here. But for me, that carries the most weight in my opinion. As long as BTC is below that 21,900 level, I'm gonna remain bearish. So everything else is pretty much the same. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap things up here, folks. So I really appreciate all of you watching. If you aren't subscribed and you're new, just stopping by, whether you're here live or just watching a recap, I would appreciate you like the video, comment, subscribe if you haven't. And that's gonna pretty much do it. I'm not gonna shill my stuff because I like to do it at least once a week. So I'll do a quick one. If you guys are interested in working further with me, or you're having trouble, you know, whether it's trading ABCs or trading in general, I do have a link in the description where you can get access to me. There's different things. You go consultations, if you need one-on-ones. I do have my own group where you get access to me, my calls. You also get access to trading videos. I'll make this real quick. Basically, there's different sections here. Let's see. Tutorials on, you know, basic stuff for leverage trading. We even do the basics DCA stuff. Trading psychology, where I do go over some important things you need to know. ABC method tutorials, you know, that's pretty much it. So link for that is in the description in case you guys are interested. No pressure though. I do just appreciate you guys stopping by. So until then, I will see you guys next week. Have a great weekend. Hope you guys have a good one. Try not to strain yourself too hard trying to trade this chop. I know it can be tempting sometimes, you know, especially with this pump going on. People are definitely scared if they miss out. You know, just let the next opportunity form, and we'll definitely, if this wants to pump, we can definitely catch another one. So be good, be safe, come up with your own trading plan. And once you do that, stick to the plan. Don't deviate. Stick to your guns. I appreciate you guys stopping by. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Digital cheers. I appreciate you. I will see you guys on Tuesday on the next one. But until then, have a good weekend. Be safe, be good, and have a good night.